Hello and hey, this is Zerogokin Reviews, and today I'm looking at the Nendoroid Lancer Artoria Pendragon from FGO. I guess they made this for the movie, I didn't watch it. I have read a lot of her material. It was all fan material, but I can confidently say that she's my favorite Fate girl. And she's not Saber. There's a pretty big difference. She has a lance, thus she's a Lancer. I'm also going to call her Lartoria or Larch from now on. Okay, technically she is the same person, as in King Arthur, but a different aspect of their legend. She's also more mature in the other way as well, and isn't an annoying child. She's a fucking king. She exudes competence and confidence. She also looks fucking adorable. That would usually be my transition to the look segment, but this is my first experience with a Nendoroid box, and how these accessories don't have a place here is kinda fucked up. But you can store them in the faceplates. No fucking clue what you're supposed to do with the stand. Anyway, looks. Sometimes I find the Nendoroid aesthetic to be a bit meh, but here is thankfully one of the times I think it works really well. Actually, this is the first time I'm reviewing a Nendoroid. I should probably talk about that. I think that Nendoroids are probably the best example to explain the direction that the figure industry has gone. Like, since the first Nendoroid in 2006, the prices have gone up. While there were some increases in quality in that time, there were also changes that should have reduced the price. So then, why? Well, there's one thing that has changed. Instead of the double digits of the last decade, now there are hundreds of Nendoroids made every year. What I'm saying is the reason is not quality, but rather it's about variety. Prices have gone up to allow them to make more kinds of things and still be profitable. I'm not saying this makes their prices good and reasonable, but considering the media landscape now, it's a direction that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, I was talking out of my ass, all that could have been complete fucking bullshit. As for my personal opinion, I don't actually care much for Nendoroids. I generally avoid them. This is actually the first one I've bought with a box. I just really like Lart, and this turned out very nicely. I now have a little king to go with my big king. As for the design of Lart herself, I obviously like it. And unlike the people in the comments section, I wouldn't group her with the Saber label. She doesn't just look like regular-ass Saber cosplaying. You cannot get this with these assets. Some people are also really bothered by her tits. Like, this is Fate. At this point, do you really expect decency? Although yeah, I do like the armor. I hope that the Figma has armor parts, which this Nendoroid doesn't have. As you can see from these arms, they're trying to minimize the amount that joints compromise the design. It's basically a statue with minimal articulation. But first, fisting is $300.
It's physical with your hand, but for some reason it's also more emotional. It's more psychological too.
Before we begin, either a lot of parts on this easily fucking fall off, or I might have not gotten a good copy of this. I don't have a lot of experience with Nendoroids, but this older one is pretty solid. Although I wouldn't be surprised if the 1532nd Nendoroid has quality control issues. Anyway, something I do like about Nendoroids is that pretty much all the faceplates are compatible. Although it is because I assume that they're all made with the same base, which is arguably a bit shit. But either way, you get stern, yelling, and fucking adorable. So this comes attached in the box, but consistency can fuck my ass, so I'm gonna call it an accessory. Like, it's not actually attached to anything, it just sits on her shoulders getting in the way of head movement, which it does stay in place, but since her head comes off easily, it falls off for that reason instead. And it does get in the way, so you have to take it off to change her arms. Because she doesn't have articulation, she needs bent arms. This hand-on-chest one is the only fancy one she gets, despite it not being very fancy. These can go on all of the arms except for the fancy one, and I got two right-holding hands for some reason. Again, quality control issues. The arms and hands fortunately don't fall off when wielding her lance. Here's her lance. Here's her effect lance. Here's her lance effect. My Panzeroid still hasn't arrived. This is Dun Stallion. This is also an modestly articulated figure. It's also pretty cute. Nendoroid stand. It's just a holy piece of plastic that keeps the figure in place. Wow. Guts, Mazinger, Ludens. Overall, she small. Price, not small. That's about it. Extra thank you to the patrons who basically paid for this. An additional extra thank you to my actual best friend in the world at Photon Labs Reviews, who filmed most of the figure shots for me. You can check him out if you want. And I'll see y'all next time.